I'm back on my favorite island, Jamaica. In this episode, we're going to discover the history and the cuisine of the Maroons high up in the mountains. Today, we'll be cooking the original recipe for jerk pork. We're making Cocoon rundown, pepper pot soup, and a Rastafarian vegetable dish. Up here with the Maroons, you're going to get good food and culture and the taste of history. The Maroons have existed independently in Jamaica for hundreds of years. Immediately upon arriving in the village of Accompong, there was a sense of welcome from all the villagers that wanted to show their culinary history to me. I can't wait to experience it. Mark, so good to see you again, man.
Yes, Walter, welcome to Accompong.
You told me last year about all the culture and all the history of the Maroons, so I had to come over here.
Yes.
Because we're going to make some fantastic dishes today.
I'm going to show you Cocoon.
Cocoon?
Yeah, and Cocoon is a nut that bears on a vine. The vine that it bears on, that is the same vine our ancestors used to use to camouflage themselves during the war days between the Maroons and the British. I even wear it for my pendant because it's like a protected from the ancestors, you know.
Fantastic.
I'm going to put this on the fire and then I'm going to burn it to get the inner part that I'm going to prepare for food because the cocoon have to be open to eat.
It's amazing. It looks like stones. That's a dish I have never seen. First time.
After we finish this, we can roast it like coffee and ground it and make it into a thing from like male who have prostate cancer and stuff like that.
Huh. I see him already, popping. I have asbestos hands, you know.
Yes.
But that is hot.
Yeah. So I'm ready now for we to go and do the rundown.
Okay.
All right, yeah. We don't really use the coconut milk to do stuff. We use the original coconut. I'm gonna juice this. Okay, all right. And then we use a strainer. I will strain it. Now we're gonna put this on the fire to boil for some time until it come half down. I'll add the stuffs in it. Now, after we finish the coconut juice, what I do now, I'll dice up the cocoon.
To remember one very important point, the cocoon itself, you can't eat when it doesn't open. You roast it, you peel it, you soak it in water, then afterwards you dice it, then you can eat it.
We soak it in a container, and every morning I change the water,
water
for 7 to 9 days, and then it's ready to eat.
Because it's like a glycol. It's a poison that's in there that evaporates with time and with water. Same as the ackee tree, when the ackee opens, the glycol evaporates. So it's poison at this stage, it's edible at this stage. But I tell you, this is a serious recipe.
Remember I said I put it in salt and water?
Yeah.
And what I did, I used the mackerel water to give it that flavor.
When he soaks the salted mackerel, he used this flavor. So basically it has a slight flavor of little fish, but it's also crispy. It's like a cucumber that has a slight fish flavor with salt. Very delicious though.
This now is the anato, and the anato like curry, paprika, stuff like that. It's what we use to get our color with our coconut
Turmeric,
juice.
it's a Coleman saffron.
Yeah.
That's what
So
it is.
I'm dropping in the seeds in this, and then I'm gonna
break the seed.
Seeds actually changing the color.
Yeah. So he's using the younger one because it's
Green
richer in color.
Yeah.
Anato is commonly used in Central and South American cuisine. As a matter of fact, in Jamaica we have a place called Anato Bay,
Yeah.
where it all grows on the other side of the island. Just going to add it into it.
Yeah. You could see the color coming.
It's color and flavor though, Mike.
Yeah.
Huh?
So if you just boil it to get the salt out, clean off the scale.
And the bones, very important.
And the bones, yeah.
He put salted cod under the rundown, and then he's putting some onion, some habaneros, some scallions, some thyme. The scallion leaf whole for flavor. He's getting ready, all the mise en place for the rundown.
And everything in the pot.
And notice he leaves the scotch bonnet whole just to get the flavor, not to make it too hot. Added some scallion into it.
Yeah.
And now how much time do you simmer down, Mike?
We're just giving him simmer for probably 7 minutes or so now, you know?
A lot of work for a dish, let me tell you that.
Yeah.
Let me try it here. Wow. Mike, I know it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. That is really delicious. First time I've ever had it, ever.
Yeah.
And I've been around a long time eating.
It's nice with bananas and yams.
The annatto, the thyme, the pepper,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful. And now we learn more about the fascinating history of the Maroons.
The word maroon means wild, untamed, or to be cut off. In 1655, the British invaded the Spanish-held island of Jamaica. But before they left the Spanish, they freed their slaves, armed them, and asked them to help to fight the British.
Many of these freed slaves escaped to the island's mountainous interior and quickly assimilated into its rugged, natural terrain. During British colonization, many slaves of different African origins escaped to the newly established Maroon communities.
So it was under this tree that the leaders of all tribes met, tribal groups as they were in Africa. And they come to the conclusion, yes, we're from one country, so let us unite in the name of peace and brotherhood. So their one task now is to defeat the British.
War between the British and the Maroons went on for decades, but it was the strategic guerrilla warfare tactics of the Maroons that eventually led to British submission.
In the 12th year of his reign, King George II of England granted a peace treaty with them. And in that treaty, we had a right to own our own lands.
Accompong is the largest Maroon settlement in Jamaica, and its citizens continue to live on lands granted under this treaty signed in 1739.
We don't pay taxes for our lands. Our land is free. It's passed down from generation unto generations. And that day, 1739, we killed some pigs, and we drink and you sing and dance all day.
We sing these songs when we win the war with the English. We rule by our own law. The land is for the born and the unborn. If you come here now and decide to live up here, you get a piece of land, occupy, and you don't pay $1 for it.
And every time we play in these drums, the ancestors, they want to move in with you as well.
Dance.
Dance and all over.
Cook up the fresh food and feed them.
I've hosted many pigs and made a lot of jerk recipes in my life. But to be part of something so meaningful to the Maroon community with their recipe that dates back way before they gained their independence from the British is truly going to be one of the highlights of my career.
What I did this morning, I get up real early and started preparation of the jerk.
So I see you break down the bone so the pig lays flat. That makes it easier to cook, right?
Yeah.
And put the jerk seasoning under the skin.
So right now, Walter, I'm gonna show you what I use to marinate the pig.
One of the locals just brought us over a whole bunch of beautiful pimento leaves. We call it allspice in the States, but it's a very important ingredient in a beautiful jerk seasoning.
Yeah. And then we have the Scotch bonnet pepper, garlic,
Yep.
we have the onion, we have some thyme, scallion, and we'll put also some white proof rum on it, and then we'll put some soy sauce in it too. And what we do now, we use a pestle and we beat it.
Oh gosh, beautiful.
I stuff the pig with that to get it marinated. And I put it down for like half an hour wrapped. And then I put a pot on the fire with some of the same spices and stuff, with some water. and boiling, sending the flavor all through the meat.
I make many choiks many times, not as good as you, obviously, but use a little white rum. I guess that's your magic weapon.
Yeah, that's my weapon. This side is actually tendered already because it's not tough. In those days, our ancestors never have fork or spoon, so we use what we call cooking stick to cook with.
Wow, it's hot, but there's a lot of flavor. It has a lot of character, typically of a maroon choice, huh?
Yes.
Fantastic.
I've been cooking this part of the pig for like 20 minutes. And now I'm getting ready to turn it because the pot that I'm cooking in cannot cover it up. So I do one part for 20 minutes and I do the other part for 20 minutes, then I'll move it to where we're gonna jerk it. If I had to marinate it overnight, then I would never pre-cooked it.
Gotcha.
But just because we just marinated this morning, so we're just sending the flavor right through.
This is to seal the flavors into the pig, because afterwards this one gets transported to your special
Jerk center.
jerk center, which is around the bend.
Yeah. We are about to finish the process of the pig. Everything we do, we use a pimento to put more flavor and more spice.
And obviously the fire needs to be controlled. It's got to be a slow fire.
Yeah. What's happening in Jamaica, most of the jerkmen them use water to damp their jerk. What I use is the same marinated juice.
Yeah.
And I pour it over it like that. So it keeps the flavor rolling. So this process might be take around 30 to 40 minutes.
Now, because you pre-blanched it.
Yes.
And this is basically the way it's been done for centuries.
Yes, because our community is 278 years since the signing of the treaty.
Yeah.
And before that, our ancestors used to jerk and cook like this.
Well, you know, I'm going to move here, you know.
There's no problem. You see land all around. Just pick your land.
In a compound, 75–80% of the food we eat are the food that we produce. Some of the things that people go to doctor for, we don't. We use plenty herbal medicine. If you go in this bush, you find a whole lot of herbs that can heal you.
So Walter, this is something not a lot of people in the world have ever seen or heard about. This is called dandelion. And if you see how it looks like a bean on a plant, like a peas. But what we do, we pick these tiny little strips and we'll shell them out like that. We use these beans and we roast them. And it's a good tea, similar to coffee. We can roast it with the cocoon, which I'm wearing the cocoon necklace. And the cocoon and one next one called the nickel. We can roast them with the cocoon and the nickel, and it's good for like prostate cancer.
That's why you're the medicine doctor here.
Yes.
Bush doctor.
Yes.
Beautiful. A work of art.
I'm gonna cut your piece
Cut me a
right
bit,
now.
yeah. Now, how hot?
Hot as you can take it.
Your definition of hot and ours is the difference.
Enjoy your meal.
Oh,
Scotch bonnet pepper.
amazing, amazing. The thyme, the garlic,
Yeah.
it's true to tradition, correct?
Yes, my grandmother was a great chef. What I'm doing is oral history and oral tradition.
And the oral traditions are sometimes the best. You know?
Yes. And I don't like to use commercial spices or seasoning to cook. I like to use the natural stuff. You live longer, you stay stronger.
You're the man.
Yes, thank you.
So the pig is finally been cooked. That was a lot of work, but it was worth it because it was truly delicious.
Yes.
So the next dish, you call it Ital. What does it really mean?
Ital is basically a known meat, known salt, and it's eaten mostly by persons who believe in the Rastafarian faith, you know? And all the persons who are vegans and things like that, they grab onto it and they eat this because this is also healthy for your stomach.
So you're going to get a lot of flavors by using different ingredients.
Different ingredients,
Since
yeah.
you're not having any meat or fat in it.
And the garlic gives it the taste for the salt.
Got you.
I'm gonna chop some pumpkin up. Yeah. Kind of original Rastas love bright colors too,
Yep.
you know.
You can really put any kind of vegetable. There's really not a recipe. It's whatever you like.
Yeah, well, you can work it out to be
Yeah.
a recipe too.
Yeah, gotcha.
Now I'm gonna chop some carrots too, you know? These carrots now grow in the parish of St. Elizabeth on the south coast. Where we live, it's more yams, dasheen, sugar cane, banana and coffee and stuff. But on the other side, and like in Manchester, they grow like Irish potatoes.
The market basket. Everything goes down there. You got pumpkin, you got carrots, you got Irish, you got scallion, you got garlic. Garlic very important to get the flavor into.
Yeah.
It all goes in the stack, which is the coconut milk as the base.
Yeah, the coconut milk is the base. You notice I grabbed 3 colors pepper. The red, green, and gold is a Rasta color. So that's why I put 3, and I will never cut these. I'll just put them in the pot.
I knew that was not by accident.
No.
You have a purpose there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Some thyme.
Some thyme and some onion yet.
Yeah.
And everything goes in it. It doesn't you don't sweat it. It goes straight in the coconut
Straight in
milk.
and steam.
So the coconut milk is already boiling.
Yes.
And now you're adding all the ingredients into it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It looks so pretty already. All right.
I'm just cutting the tomatoes now to put on the top of it.
So the vegetables, he's not going to cook it to a mush. You cook it a little al dente so you get the flavor of the individual vegetables.
And this is a susumber.
The susumba, it's like a berry.
What we do, we pick these, but you have to squeeze them. If they cannot burst like that, they're too hard.
Too hard. They're really bitter.
Yeah, they're really bitter.
But this is green. It's not ripe yet. And when it's ripe, you got to be able to open it with your hands. You push it like that. This is not ripe. Those are the ripe ones.
I'm gonna add a susumber to the tomatoes and add these in it and let it simmer.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Nice contrast of color, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I'm gonna get a little more juice to add to it.
That's it. Beautiful.
So now it's ready. So I'm gonna share a bowl.
Beautiful. Wow. What a great flavor. And such an easy dish to make.
Yes.
Really, really beautiful. Tasty.
It's good for persons, even diabetic persons, with the susumba berries with a little biterish taste. That's the exact meal for them, to live longer and stay healthy.
In addition to their cuisine, music also plays a big part in the history and daily life of the Maroons.
You have some songs when a Maroon die and you're preparing the grave for burial. You sing these songs. These songs called the Caramanti. Amini waye, sheki abraye, ye koteko, yampa shaye, aya, ye koteko, yampa shaye. That is the Caramantic song.
Come on, son.
When you dig in the grave and you buck up stone and you cannot remove it, you pour the white rum on it and the ancestors help you to take it out. You invoke the spirits with the rum.
Very cool.
The drums, in particular, not only connects them to their West African roots, but also was used for communication.
This drum is very unique. It is only found in Accompong Town up here. It is called the gumbe. And this skin here is goat, female goat.
Female goat.
The thinner skin. And you preserve the skin with white rum. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so good.
Keep it moist and nice. You can read the sounds of it. Goes with the abeng. You used to send message in those days, but they never had telephone.
This is one of the first telephones for the Maroon people to send message back and forward. So the drum, the gumbe drum here, send message to the Maroon village, near or far, just like how the abeng send the signal the same way.
You get a different note on the edge here and down the middle here.
Can I try?
Yeah, man.
I cannot screw it up. Oh, it's heavy. Oh,
I look a weight.
man, it's heavy though. So how do you hold it?
If you hold it between your legs.
You have strong legs. Smells so good from all the rum. Let's see. I gotta get my rhythm here. Oh, not bad for a cook. This next recipe has a lot of sentimental values to me because I serve pepper pot soup in my restaurant in Philadelphia for the last 22 years. But my recipe comes from Porto Antonio, which is on the other side of the island. His recipe comes from right here, which is completely different than mine, but still called pepper pot, right, Mike?
Yes. I'm going to show you how I start prepare this. And this one is called Aberdeen. We'll chop it like this.
And you just sweat it?
Give it some time to boil and get soft. So with it and the saltfish, I'll add them together in this bowl because it's neatly chopped already. And it's like a paste.
Saltfish is already cooked and boiled and de-skinned and deboned.
And now I'm going to take this over to the pot.
And the pot is pure coconut milk.
So now I'm going to add yellow yam.
Mike, first time I have to do nothing.
Yes.
You're doing everything. I like my job.
That's great, yeah. The yam is ready.
Yellow yam goes in now.
I'm just making this, the dough, getting the flours together to make the spinners. To make the dough, we have to use water, flour, and a little tip of salt for flavor.
It's traditional, you find in most of the Jamaican cooking that spinners are always somehow incorporated to any kind of soup. The word spinner comes when you spin it. Some people make them long, some people make them round.
Yeah.
Dumplings, same thing. This one you open to get the strength of the seed. Ooh. Oh, the flavor of those peppers. Pepper pot is not for the lighthearted. It has serious heat always. Even the one I make in my restaurant in Philadelphia has a good kick. Obviously, I don't have any pimento leaves in my place. Yeah. Which pimento leaves I cannot have in the States. I use the berries, the allspice berry I use.
Now I'm going to add the pimento leaf, the thyme, the pepper, and the garlic and scallion.
You redefine bush cooking, Mike.
Yes.
Nice.
So I'm going to take out the big leaf, like the pimento leaf, the thyme, all the strings, and then it's ready to serve.
Boy, that is beautiful. And I've never had pepper pot with saltfish.
You notice the taste you get from when I cook? When I cook with less salt, because less salt is more healthier for persons.
That is spicy, but very flavorful.
Yes.
So Mike, fantastic. I've been coming to Jamaica for over 30 years. Every time I come, I find new techniques and new recipes. Thanks to Mike that showed me some fantastic new ideas.
Yes, Walter, and it's never too old to learn, because what I learned it from my grandmother.
You learned well, because the recipes we made are absolutely spectacular. I'm going to keep them in my own repertoire, you know.
And if you notice, a lot of persons around their houses sprinkle rum. The process of doing the rum, it's called libration. And to mark your visit to this historical village of Accompong, I'm going to sprinkle rum. And then hold your hand. As a visitor to our community, I give you some. You can wash your face, you can wash your neck, because it's cheering up the spirit of the ancestors to tell them that we're not in for war anymore, but we're in for peace, love, and harmony.
Let me tell you, the spirit is right along here. I can feel it. Thank you.
And that's why we always keep it and cherish it and maintain it. And we thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mark, for helping us to discover the rich history of the Maroons for a taste of history.